I don't know, but Jack Doyle, a guy. If we're talking about the second most
Let's
important
segue
receiver,
into the Wolves' actual favorite Colt.
I love Jack Doyle more than life itself. We just became like it started early last offseason on our podcast where he had like a touchdown early on, and we're like, "What's this creature named Jack Doyle?" And then he kept kind of emerging more and more, and suddenly he became a guy that I was starting in fantasy, and he had like a 90 catch, a 90-yard like 2 TD day against Tennessee, and it was just the great. That now I love him forever. But he ended up something that not a lot of people know is he was second among tight ends in receptions last year. I mean, that's
What?
insane.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
and it
I
absolute
didn't
dead
even know that,
serious.
and I'm the co-host of this podcast.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's amidst some huge seasons from Kelsey and Gronk and Ertz. Jack Doyle was second among tight ends with receptions, which is crazy to me.
It's
And
nuts.
Reich, for he's coached Antonio Gates, Zach Ertz. He's kind of facilitated some nice stats from the tight end position too. So we're just wondering, do you see Doyle kind of continuing to ascend here? What type of 2018 do you envision, especially if Luck can get back on the field?
Yeah, Jack, first of all, he's a really interesting guy. He's almost a folk hero here in Indianapolis because he's his hometown kid. And then his story, undrafted guy, gets cut by the Titans, comes here after training camp, I think. I think it was around the first week of the regular season, and works his way in, ends up beating out Kobe Fleener and Dwayne Allen, outlasting both of those guys, becoming the man. And really, last year, he became Jacoby Brissett's security blanket. He was the guy when Brissett was in trouble. That's who he was looking for first. And that really started last year, the year before, with Luck in the red zone, where Luck got to the point where once they were down inside the 20, he was looking for 84 almost all the time. So I think there's nowhere but up with Jack Doyle just because, again, you're talking about a guy that works his butt off. He's a self-made man in a lot of ways. This is not a career he was supposed to have. And you go and you look at second in the league last year, it was the second biggest receiving season for a tight end in Colts franchise history. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's our guy.
I think, it's really, really crazy what he's been able to do. So I know he's one of Chris Ballard's favorite players because Ballard's whole philosophy is earn it, get out there, prove it on the field. He was the first guy really that Ballard re-signed last year as a free agent, brought him back, gave him a decent deal. He goes out and he makes his first Pro Bowl. And I think, to me, it's going to take an injury or something like that to slow Jack Doyle down at this point because he's got everything you want in that sort of – it's interesting because you don't think of tight ends very often as being third down guys, but really he's sort of taken over that old Reggie Wayne role with this team where it's third down and you're looking for Jack Doyle.
Well, Reggie Wayne had himself a hell of a career at that spot, so that tied